On today's video, I'm about to reveal to you the hidden mechanics of creation that they don't want you to know about. So if you've been studying manifestation, self-development, and personal growth, and you're going after a goal, dream, or desire, but you just haven't been able to achieve it quite yet, stick around on today's video, and I promise you are going to have a completely different outlook on life coming out of it. So let's get right to it. We've all seen those life-changing quotes that are floating around out there, right? Your thoughts create your reality. Your life is a result of the choices you make. Change your perception, change your life. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. The famous Henry Ford quote, you become what you believe, and a million more, right? And although they're all kind of overly simplified, they are all pointing to something real and something powerful, but no one truly explains how it works or why it works or the mechanisms behind it. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover on today's video for you here. So if that sounds good, make sure you throw a like on this video and let's keep going. The reality is there is a mechanism occurring behind all of these quotes. And there is a process that's happening that you're likely not fully aware of yet. And once you understand it, now you can work in more harmony with it rather than fighting against it. So in essence and at the core, life and reality operate by a cause and effect. The problem is most people don't realize that they are the cause to the effect. And that's what we're going to uncover here. And before I do, I want to share just one more powerful quote. It actually comes from Napoleon Hill from the famous book, Think and Grow Rich. And in essence, Napoleon Hill studied the most successful people of his time for decades and distilled all of the 16 principles that he uncovered, although only 13 are in the book. But he distilled down all the 16 success principles that he discovered down into one famous statement. And it's what the mind of man can conceive and bring itself to believe it can achieve. This statement, I'm actually going to reread it one more time for you because it actually contains the hidden mechanism behind everything, okay? What the mind of man can conceive and bring itself to believe, it can achieve. So what Hill is alluding to here is that pretty much whatever you can conjure up on the screen of your mind, whether your eyes are closed or not, it's whatever you can visualize and picture on the screen of your mind. That's the conceive part. And whatever you can bring yourself to believe, in other words, bring yourself into full alignment with the acceptance of the thing you can achieve. And so the reality is most people conceive the worst in their life. And they're what we call fear casting. You turn on the news and you're watching all this bad stuff going on in our outside environment. And that's what kind of has most of people's attention and focus. Well, if that's what you're primarily conceiving, and then you bring yourself to believe that the world is bad or things are difficult or, I always struggle with XYZ, then that's what you're currently believing. And now you've successfully achieved that result and that experience in your life. But at the core of it, you are the one processing and conceiving on the screen of your mind, and you are the one believing whatever it is you're believing. And then that leads to the achievement of whatever you've conceived and believed. All right. So now we're kind of starting to distill down what Napoleon Hill discovered, right? At the core of everything is whatever has your attention and focus, and whatever you believe is what you can achieve. Okay, well, there's more deeper mechanisms occurring that we're going to step through on this video for you here today so that you understand the mechanisms that are actually creating the results in your life. So stay with me here, keep buckled in, and I promise you it's going to serve you amazingly well. So at the core, the thoughts that we consistently entertain, picture, and visualize on the screen of our mind, on our imagination here, plus the beliefs that we accept to be true, we abide by, and we reinforce in our life, contribute to the identity that we operate from on a regular basis. In other words, it's affecting our state of being on a regular basis. And our state of being, the last piece of the puzzle here, is actually controlling how we show up and take action in our life. So at the very core, you think thoughts, and then the more powerful thoughts you think about end up becoming beliefs. Well, your thoughts and beliefs lead you to feel a certain way. Well, your thoughts, beliefs, and how you feel is your state of being, which now is building and reinforcing your identity. Your identity now is influencing the decisions you make, the actions you take, and is ultimately producing and is the cause to the results that you're seeing in your life. And I call this the reality creation loop of your thoughts lead to your beliefs, lead to your feelings, lead to how you show up and your state of being and your identity, which leads to the decisions you make, the actions you take, and the results that you get. Okay. But at the deepest level, who you are determines what you create. And here's where most people get stuck is they try to change their results by changing their actions first and forcing motivation to change their actions without addressing the precursor to their actions, which is their identity and all the things I just listed. If you don't change and shift your state of being and your identity first, and then any action that you're forcing yourself to take that's not aligned with your identity and the state of being is just going to end up being a temporary fleeting action because you're just going to default back to who you've always been. So until you shift your identity, not a whole lot ends up changing. Even if you're forcing different actions and you're forcing yourself to show up differently, you've got to shift it at the core first. And that's exactly what we're uncovering here on today's video for you. So if that makes sense, before we go any further, just let me know in the comments below what you think about this idea. And let me tell you, we're going to go infinitely deeper, but I just want to check in and make sure you're tracking with me so far. Okay, let's go a bit deeper with this idea. And we're going to start with an idea that everything is energy. Everything in our world and universe here is energy, including you and I. If you look through a microscope at your body and at physical material things like this desk, you're going to see that everything at the smallest level is made up of atoms. And then if you even had a microscope that can look even further, you'd see that even atoms are made up of subatomic particles. Well, now we're getting into the realm of the very small, which is what we call quantum. So quantum physics is based on the very small world of quantum subatomic particles and energy. That's actually the cusp and the threshold between our three-dimensional physical world and reality and the fourth dimensional world of energy. And this is literally the transition of particle and matter to wave and energy. So it's right there on the cusp, which is why quantum physics abides by a different set of laws and Newtonian physics abides by another set of laws. But they're all talking about the same mechanism, which is energy at its core. So everything is energy. And when you look at that energy, everything is actually vibrating and has a frequency. So to simplify this, if you look around your space right now, just know that everything is vibrating at a unique frequency. Literally, this water bottle versus my phone versus this book versus the pen on my desk. All of the things that make up the material world are actually made up of the same substance, atoms, but they're just structured in different manners, which make up different material things. And so to keep this simple, everything is made up of energy at the very deepest levels, is vibrating and has a frequency associated with it. And what's really cool is us humans have this profound ability to actually manipulate that energy and control it. We can shape, control, influence, broadcast, and receive energy via our mind and our imagination. Can you or can you not picture and envision anything on the screen of your mind? Remember, what you can conceive and bring yourself to believe, you can achieve. All right, so everything's going to kind of go back to that idea, even though it's super simple. As we get deeper and deeper, you're going to understand it at a deeper and deeper level. And so now you actually are one of the most advanced biological energy transmuting machines known in the universe. And you literally can create your reality via whatever you're focusing your attention on. But the idea here is super profound. You are actually like a sculptor, and you're sculpting and creating this energy that we're talking about very similarly to clay, like a sculptor sculpting a clay masterpiece, but you're doing it in your mind first. And then as you flow more and more energy, attention, ideas, inspired actions, and all that towards it is when it starts to actually come to fruition. We're going to break that mechanism down as we keep going here. But essentially, that's what's happening. You are beginning to mold this energetic substance, if you will, and it's really what we call consciousness or the field, but you are actually able to influence it and manipulate it and interact with it 24/7, 365 via your thoughts and how you feel. So if you break down the human body really quick, in terms of this, we think thoughts, which actually cause neurons to fire, which are electrical in nature. And then our heart and nervous system is actually feeling energy, which is magnetic in nature. And between the two, you're actually emitting physically an electromagnetic frequency, an EMF signal. And whatever you're thinking about, However you're feeling about it is contributing and influencing the field 24/7, 365. You can't shut it off. So this mechanism, as you become aware of it, you're going to start to understand how powerful your thoughts actually are, because they are like the seed that you're planting in a dirt field. And whatever the seed is, if it's the seed of an apple tree, it's going to produce an apple tree. Well, the same thing is true with the thoughts you continuously think. If you continuously think, I'm not good enough, oh, money's hard to make, I'll never meet my dream person. If you're constantly planting those seeds, a lot of people unknowingly are doing this, right? Unconsciously. Well, you're continuously watering that seed and it's going to grow into that exact seed that you planted. So now when you understand the mechanism of creation here, you're going to start to really truly pay attention to what you're thinking. And then what you're saying is actually a representation of what you're thinking. So you're going to start paying attention to your words as well and how you're speaking. So I don't want to go too far here on today's video. I just want to kind of uncover this hidden mechanism that most people are unaware of. And if you're part of my new program, Embodied Manifestation, then we are going to go infinitely deeper with these ideas and it's going to change your life forever. And if you're not a part of it, by the way, you can join from the link below in the comments that I post. Although the spots are actually filling up pretty fast and I'm only taking a handful more people into the program because I'm trying to keep it really small so that we can go super deep with the people that are in it. I want it to be a very transformative experience for you. You are a limitless being that can have, do, or be anything that you set your mind to. And as we keep uncovering these hidden mechanisms here, you're going to start to see exactly how to create it. Okay, so stay with me. I hope that's exciting. And if you haven't already liked this video, make sure you like it. It's very, very powerful. Okay, so you can think of this field that we keep talking about as like an ocean of energy. And we are molecules swimming in the ocean of energy. In other words, we are this energy and it is us. And anytime we think and feel, we're emitting a signal that's essentially transmitting a ripple instantaneously into the field. And the field immediately receives it and responds to it, just like a ripple of waves goes out and comes back in. So you can think of like the analogy as like a boomerang. Whatever you're thinking and however you feel is like you're sending out a boomerang, and only like things, people, events, circumstances, opportunities, ideas can come in that match that frequency and that signal. So just like you're tuning your radio station or you're changing the channel on a TV, if you change it to a particular channel, or if you tune your radio to 95.7, it's one of my local rock stations here, you tune to that station, well, you're gonna get rock music, not country, not anything else. It's gonna be rock music. So the same is true with what we're talking about. And the law of attraction popularized this idea. So that's a more mainstream concept of this, but it goes a bit deeper than what the law of attraction presents to you, because there's subtle nuances in what you're thinking and how you're feeling. And all of that contributes to the signal you're emitting. So as we keep uncovering these ideas, you're going to start to see why you haven't been creating or attracting the results that you're looking to create. And you're going to start to know how to shift it so that you can start to create the life that you desire more and more often, way more effectively, faster than ever before. And not to mention, you're going to be feeling more aligned with it, which is actually what produces a result anyways. So in other words, once you get aligned and everything comes into coherence finally, now you're sending out the right signals. The universe and the field can now transmit that back to you properly, and it's not a noisy signal. And now it can present to you more and more ideas, people, opportunities, connections, and all that stuff that match it more and more often. Ultimately, where your attention goes, energy flows and momentum grows. And so whatever has your attention has your power. And so for most people, they are giving away their power to all the outside environment, right? You turn on the news and it influences the way people feel, right? People allow it to influence their state of being. They worry, they doubt, they fear. They're not sure what's going on because they see all this stuff happening in the world. But the reality is the world isn't creating that for them. They are creating that for themselves because they're allowing their attention, energy, and focus to be controlled or to be manipulated or influenced by the outside environment. Well, the real cause to the effect is your inner environment. What you're thinking and feeling internally is actually what's being emitted, and and is what's actually creating your outer world. So now when you start to realize this, you control your own economy. Even if the stock market's crashing, you can make millions of dollars in a different avenue, or by buying up crashed stocks at a low price and build your money back up. So in other words, the circumstances don't matter in your life. It's your energetic state that is the key to all of this. And so as you become more familiar with how you feel, what you're thinking, why you're thinking it, and you start to make new decisions to start thinking more powerfully for yourself, and it starts to help you feel better, and you start to emit a new signal, naturally you're going to show up differently to the world, and other people are going to start to take notice. And there are only really two different states of being, but one is survival mode and one is creation mode. And so to simplify it, is if you feel any negativity in the body, you are in survival mode. You're doubting, you're fearing, you're worrying, stressed, overwhelmed, right? That's the opposite of creation mode. That mode is actually beneficial for you because it helps you stay alert. It helps you be on guard. It helps you kind of ramp up your stress hormones to be ready to fight, flight, or freeze, and to help you kind of react faster. However, that's the opposite state of creating. So when you're in stress, overwhelm, fear, doubt, worry, you're in a very reactive state. And the brain waves associated with that state are what we call beta. In short, the beta brainwave state is a very noisy and chaotic signal, and it's not a very cohesive signal. So it essentially is kind of keeping you in survival mode, stress, fear, overwhelm, and anxiety. But true deliberate creation occurs from an alpha theta brainwave state. They also call this the billionaire or the wealth frequency brainwave state. And so when you're in alpha and theta, your conscious mind starts to quiet down and relax. In other words, you're not necessarily worried about anything. You start to physically calm your body and being, and your brainwave is physically slowing down, and it's starting to enter a more harmonized and cohesive brainwave pattern. Once you're nice and relaxed, you're in a calm, you're not being threatened by anything, right? You can kind of calm your body and relax it. Now, whatever you conceive on the screen of your mind is a much more clear, cohesive signal and picture. And then if you could feel in relation to it and align how that feels, and you can build some cohesiveness there and coherency there, now you're emitting a very powerful signal into the field. In other words, your ripple is much more accurate, much more powerful, and the field instantly receives it. Well, what ends up happening is, let's just say you do a visualization and it feels really good for a few minutes, maybe 5-10 minutes even, and you're really in the energy of it. And then you come out of the visualization, and then you go back to your old life and your old reality, your past self. And then you felt really good for a few minutes, but then the rest of the waking day, for many hours, you're feeling stressed, worried, overwhelmed. You kind of go back to that same state of being. That's what's happening for everybody. That was what was happening for me. And that's how I learned about this, right? As I started to learn and realize the deeper levels of this idea and started to see how it was playing out in my own life. Now, I don't worry about a thing. I don't stress. Do things still bring you up? Of course. Like something happens, you're in danger, you're going to ramp up your stress hormones, right? Cortisol is going to be released, and that's beneficial. But when you realize the other side of this, of this is what's creating, that's the signal you're putting out there, you're going to really start to understand the power that you actually wield. And you can actually start to rest assured that everything is good, and you can start to calm your body. You can start to relax. You don't have to worry anymore, because worrying is just putting your attention and energy on something that you don't want, right? And so you're going to stop wasting your time doing that a lot more often, and you're going to start to create much more powerfully as your awareness and your understanding of this gets deeper. So in creation mode, you're relaxed, your imagination is opened up, ideas can come in more effectively, you can be inspired more easily, you're connected to your intuition more effectively, you can reprogram subconscious beliefs more effectively in this state of being as well, and you get way more creative insight than ever before. And so the very first thing you want to start doing is practice getting yourself into this state of relaxing. Okay. And so people say, like, breathe, relax. There's profoundness in that statement. Breathe. Relax. That's what they mean. Calm the beta brainwaves so that you can get back into alpha and theta, so you can regain control of your life, so that you can make a better, more powerful decision rather than from fear and worry, from power and creation. And so this is what they mean, is just start calming the body, start relaxing. And to do this very effectively within like a minute or two, I call it like the 2-minute kind of energetic reset. But all you do is you belly box breathe a few times. Okay, and there's a kind of a strategy I kind of teach people. Bring your attention and focus inward to your breath Number one. Okay, so you're gonna close your eyes. If it helps you, don't do this while you're driving, by the way, because you need to be paying attention to the road. But do this like when you're in your home or in your office and you're feeling stressed out, especially. Just bring your attention and your focus inward to your breath. And then you're gonna take a very slow and deep, powerful breath in through the nose, all the way up. And you're gonna hold it at the top for 5 to 10 seconds. You should feel a little tingling sensation in your brain when you really get enough oxygen up there. And when you do that, it actually is invigorating. And you're going to hold it at the top for 5 to 10 seconds. And then you're going to exhale through your mouth like you're blowing through a straw for 5 to 10 seconds, releasing all the air from your lungs and belly and chest here. And you hold it at the bottom for about 5 to 10 seconds as well. So you're completely empty at the bottom. Okay. Then you breathe back in. And your head tilts back slightly. Your belly comes out first. They call it belly box breathing. And then your chest kind of follows. And then you have full lungs of air. Release. Do this on every exhale, by the way. You want to kind of release any tension in your body. Let go of any tension you're holding in your face, your jaw, your shoulders, chest, your back, right? Your hips, your legs, your feet, anywhere you're holding any tension. Just let go of it. Allow the exhale to relax your body, okay? And you can relax, drop your shoulders, sink deeper into your seat or into your bed if you're laying down or couch. And just relax your body. 3 breaths like this is about 30 seconds. Okay. A minute, 30, 90 seconds. You can completely shift out of a sympathetic, stressful survival state and bring yourself into a parasympathetic rest and repair creation state for yourself in literally under 2 minutes. So practice doing this little exercise throughout the day, especially if you're stressed out. You're at work, you've got a deadline, or you've got a meeting coming up. Take 2 minutes, 90 seconds to just breathe exactly how I taught you and come back to a powerful state of being. Okay. So to pretty much sum this video up for you, okay, the hidden mechanism of creation is your identity is reinforcing the beliefs that you hold. The beliefs that you hold is influencing and shaping the thoughts and feelings you feel on a regular basis. And that's basically your state of being. Your state of being influences how you show up and the actions you take. And then the actions you take are actually creating and producing a result. 1-to-1 binary. You are the cause. You are the creator. Now we start to fix what we are creating by starting to change our identity. And we're going to reverse engineer this, especially if you're a part of my new Embodied Manifestation program. We are going to reverse engineer this strategically over the next couple weeks. And you guys are going to change your life. I've got news for you. You are not going to be the same, even in the next couple weeks here, but especially at the end of the 8 weeks of this program. You will not be the same. I promise you. And you are going to be creating spectacular results. That's all I want for you. I want you to understand the power that you have within you and help you harness it much more effectively. So listen, if you like this video, make sure you like it and then comment below, like, what was your favorite part of it? And if you're not already a member of my new program, you're going to want to be. I'm telling you right now, it's going to change your life forever. I'll leave a link in the comments below. Come on and jump in. I'd love to have you, especially if you've been studying this work. I will help you refine it and get all these nuances really cleaned up so that you can produce some powerful results. So I hope to see you in the program, but I'll see you definitely on the next video.